Hey guys, Drew from Tacx. Right now I'm looking at a Tacx Neo OG and a Wahoo Kicker 2018. We had a question on the Tacx Neo owners group from Mark Spencer who wanted to know why there are fitment issues with the Tacx Neo and 11-speed bikes. I don't agree with the thesis that there are generally fitment issues with 11-speed bikes, but I do think that there's maybe a misconception that we could clarify. So hopefully we can bring some light to the subject. So first, let's take a look at the Wahoo Kicker and look at the design differences between Kicker and Neo. So if you look at Kicker, this is your axle right here. Your bike is connected right here, and you see there's a lot of room on this axle all the way through to this pulley. So this pulley drives a belt that drives a spindle that then drives the flywheel. The flywheel is very remote, is way over here, not anywhere near the moving parts of the bicycle itself. So the resistance unit itself is on the other side of this flywheel. So if you look at the design, they can scallop all this material away from here, and it's just a few millimeters of steel that separate one side of the axle here from the cassette. And that's all you really need, because the flywheel and the resistance unit are remote to the rest of the mechanical parts of your bicycle. So now let's take a look at the Tacx Neo. With Neo, your axle is connecting here, and the disc brake typically hits somewhere in this area, right out here. So let's just take a look. I'm gonna pop the cover off of the Neo here, and as it happens, I was doing some additional work on this for another purpose. So it was like pretty good timing that we can talk about this. So when we look at the non-drive side of the Neo, again, here's your axle. This is the part where the disc brakes are typically touching on the plastic. So what this is internally, you've got your axle, you've got the steel frame. This is the frame that holds everything together inside of Neo. And right on the other side of that, you've got your resistance unit. So it's all centered on the axle. So the problem is you cannot move this stator, you can't move the resistance unit any further towards the drive side. So you don't have the same luxury. There's not a way to scallop any material away from here to allow for disc brake clearance. So the answer to this, the way that Tacx solved this riddle, is to move the axle itself more outboard towards the non-drive side. And they do that by using these spacers. So this is a through axle adapter for a Neo, and this is the 2.7 millimeter spacer that you use to push this away to provide a little bit more clearance this way for your disc brake. And that's really the way that this has been addressed. So there isn't really an issue as far as rim brakes because of that. So it really is just the disc brake caliper touching here and the inability to move this resistance unit elsewhere, why there's some need for that additional spacer in the axle. So yes, I think that there's an advantage for Kicker in terms of disc brake clearance, but it has the disadvantage of having a belt, having a remote flywheel, meaning that you've got more resistance parts, you've got more requirements for calibration, whereas Neo has neither of those. Like anything else in trainers, there is no best, there are just trade-offs. Hopefully that explains why. Thanks for the question, Mark. If you have any other questions, send them my way. Meanwhile, try to break stuff and we'll see if we can fix it for you.